Hello, everybody. Thanks for continuing to watch these series of videos on personality disorders. We're now looking at our next personality disorder in Cluster A. Again, this is Jurius Shaheen, LPC out of Missouri, through Pioneer Counseling. You can check us out at pioneer-counseling.com. So we are doing a deep dive and literally reading line by line through the DSM for these personality disorders. It's good to just go straight to the source and know what we're looking at and what we're reading. So last video, we looked at paranoid personality disorder. We left off at the cultural section. It's important to go back through and look at the cultural section, see how different cultures, uh, how cultures impact a diagnosis or what to look for. We are going to move over to the next diagnosis. The next diagnosis of schizoid personality disorder, or schizoid personality disorder, depending on how you say it. The diagnostic criteria here, we've got two main sections. This is code 301.20 or F60.1. So the diagnostic criteria here, you can see an A and B. We're going to read through these and then we're going to look into the diagnostic features. So with the criteria, a pervasive pattern of detachment from social relationships and a restricted range of expression of emotions in interpersonal settings, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by four or more of the following. So before we go into those four, let's just break this down a little bit. So a pervasive pattern, this means it's continuing to happen at a pretty deep and impactful pace, a pervasive pattern impacting the different domains of life of detachment from social relationships. So we are detaching ourselves from others, the world around us, and a restricted range of expression of emotions. So I'm restricted in how I'm expressing my emotions. You might not be able to see a whole lot of expression in my face when I'm feeling something. Uh, so restricted range of expression of emotions. I might be able to get uh, slightly happy or slightly sad, but I might not be able to go into the extremes or really be expressive. This is occurring in interpersonal settings with around people, and this is starting at early adulthood. So when we hear personality disorder, we are not connecting that to children or to adolescents. We are looking at early adulthood when we're talking about personality disorders. It doesn't mean you can't maybe see symptoms of some of these in younger individuals, but we're not diagnosing children with personality disorders. So beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by what we're about to read here. So we're looking for at least four of these seven. So the first one, number one here, I'll highlight it for you, neither desires nor enjoys close relationships, including being part of a family. So that's pretty specific. There is neither a desire nor an enjoyment of close relationships. Talking with someone or acquaintances or going to routine events, that's fine. But anything deeper than that, there's no desire nor enjoyment from that. And that's to include having family dynamics, deep family dynamics. Number two, almost always chooses solitary activities. Number three, has little, if any, interest in having sexual experiences with another person. Number four, takes pleasure in few, if any, activities. Number five, lacks close friends or confidants other than first degree relatives. So they might have a few individuals that they can confide in their close uh, family dynamics or relatives that they may know. So they lack close family relationships, close friends as well. Number six, appears indifferent to the praise or criticism of others. I can take it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me um, what you're saying. So it might actually impact them. Again, like we were saying above, a restricted range of expression, it might actually be influential or impactful, but the appearance is indifferent. What they're wearing on their face is indifference to praise or criticism. Number 7 shows emotional coldness, detachment, or a flattened affectivity. So the affect, the emotion might be there, but the affect, the way they're showing that emotion, might be cold, detached, not very present, not very easy to read. So that's the first part. That's A. And again, we're looking at minimum of 4 of these. Now B this does not occur exclusively during the course of schizophrenia, a bipolar disorder, or a depressive disorder with psychotic features. It also does not occur exclusively in another psychotic disorder or autism spectrum disorder. And this is not attributable to the physiological effects of another medical condition. So if someone has a medical condition or any of these other diagnosable or these diagnoses, then they wouldn't have this one. They wouldn't have schizoid or schizoid personality disorder. The note here at the bottom, note if criteria are met prior to the onset of schizophrenia and premorbid, example, schizoid personality disorder premorbid. So you want to note if the criteria is met prior to the onset of schizophrenia or not. Okay, so we're going to scroll down and take a look at the diagnostic features. This is pretty much what I just summarized, but we're going to read it again line by line because that is important. So the essential feature of schizoid personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of detachment from social relationships and a restricted range of expression of emotions in interpersonal settings. This pattern begins by early adulthood and is present in a variety of contexts. Individuals with schizoid personality disorder appear to lack a desire for intimacy. They seem indifferent to opportunities to develop close relationships and do not seem to derive much satisfaction from being part of a family or other social group. They prefer spending time with themselves rather than being with other people. They often appear to be socially isolated or loners and almost always choose solitary activities or hobbies that do not include interaction with others. They prefer mechanical or abstract tasks, such as a computer or mathematical game. They may have very little interest in having sexual experiences with another person and take pleasure in few, if any, activities. There is usually a reduced experience of pleasure from sensory, bodily, or interpersonal experience, such as walking on a beach at sunset or having intimacy. These individuals have no close friends or confidants, except possibly a first degree relative. Individuals with schizoid personality disorder often seem indifferent to the approval or criticism of others and do not appear to be bothered um, by what others might think of them. They may be oblivious to the normal subtleties of social interaction and often do not respond appropriately to social cues, so that they seem socially inept or superficial or self absorbed. They usually display a bland exterior without visible emotional reactivity and um, rarely reciprocate gestures or facial expressions, such as smiles or nods. They claim that they rarely experience strong emotions, such as anger or joy. So, like we talked about, those extremes, or high elatedness, or really deep depressiveness. Um, they often display constricted affect and appear cold and aloof. However, in those very unusual circumstances in which these individuals become, at least temporarily, comfortable in revealing themselves, they may acknowledge having painful feelings, particularly related to social interactions. So it might even pain them to be around others and experiencing these social experiences. Schizoid personality disorder should not be diagnosed if the pattern of behavior occurs exclusively during the course of schizophrenia, etc., as we talked about earlier. Okay, we're going to scroll on down to associated features. Individuals with schizoid personality disorder might have particular particular difficulty expressing anger, even in response to direct provocation, which contributes to the impression that they lack emotion. Their lives sometimes seem directionless, and they may even appear to be adrift or drift in their goals. Such individuals often react passively to adverse circumstances and have difficulty responding appropriately to important life events. Because of their lack of few friendships, lack of social skills, and lack of desire for sexual experiences, individuals with this disorder have few friendships. They date infrequently and often do not marry. Occupational functioning may be impaired, particularly if interpersonal involvement is required, but individuals with this disorder may do well when they work under conditions of social isolation. Particularly in response to stress, individuals with this disorder may experience very brief psychotic episodes lasting minutes to hours. In some instances, schizoid personality disorder might appear as the premorbid antecedent of delusional disorder or schizophrenia. Individuals with this disorder may sometimes develop major depressive disorder. Schizoid personality disorder most often occurs with schizotypal, paranoid, and avoidant personality disorders. So, what's the prevalence? What's the prevalence for this disorder? Schizoid personality disorder is uncommon in clinical settings. A prevalence estimated for schizoid personality based on a probability subsample from Part 2 of the National Comorbidity Survey replication suggests a prevalence of 4.9%. This is from 2001, 2002 data. Okay, development and course. This disorder may be first apparent in childhood and adolescence with solitariness, poor peer relationships, and underachievement in school, which mark these children or adolescents as different and make them subject to teasing. So again, we're finding this theme that in personality disorder, there may be some teasing, some aloofness, uh, uh, differences in childhood that you might see than others. There might be a increased prevalence based on genetics if there's a history of schizophrenia in the family. And then once again, if you can dive into the culture-related issues that occur, different cultures might experience these diagnoses in different ways based on their setting. This might exist slightly more in males. And for the differential diagnosis section, schizoid personality disorder can be distinguished from delusional disorder, schizophrenia, and a bipolar or depressive disorder with psychotic features because these disorders are all characterized by a period of persistent psychotic symptoms. To give an additional diagnosis of schizoid personality disorder, the personality disorder must have been present before the onset of a psychotic symptom or symptoms and must persist when the psychotic symptoms are in remission. So this is not just a set of events or a set of symptomology that occurs in a short period of time, it's long lasting. Some things you want to consider are autism spectrum disorder, personality change due to another medical condition. Perhaps a client is on a very serious medication and that individual, now their personality is changing because of it. Substance use disorders also impact how a person's affect is like, and other personality disorders and personality traits. Okay, so we will stop there. The next video we'll cover schizotypal personality disorder. Thanks for watching. Again, you can check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. You can check out our website, pioneer-counseling.com. And you can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Have a great day.